Hello everyone. In this video I will be showing you how to create graphics, create what is necessary for making a game off of a library called PyQt in Python. So first you will need to install PyQt. Pretty sure it's installed with pip. So you just have to run this command and it should install it for you. If not, just look up online how to install it. I won't be showing you that. So once you have PyQt 5, I will be showing you how to set up everything necessary to create something like a game using graphics. So first I will be showing you how to set up the canvas, because we'll be using this canvas as our graphics engine, I guess, that will be displaying our graphics using this canvas. Next I will show you how to get input from the user. So I'll show you the mouse and I might show you the keys. Yeah, we'll see. After this, it might not necessarily be in this order, but these are all of the elements necessary. I will also show you how to update the screen. So how to animate instead of just putting up a static image. Oh yeah, and one step in between is drawing on canvas. So for the first part, to set up the canvas, you need two things. Actually, three things. Queue application and queue main window. First, we start our application like this. To execute the application, this is how I saw. This is what I saw. This is how they did it. This is how I learned how to do it. I'm not exactly sure what each of these lines do, but just write them. It works. In between these, you have to create our window. So first thing, we have to set up our window. And we have to show our window. And this should work. Yes, we have our window. I can really quickly show you how to set a title. So we'll call it PyQt graphics and set window icon, Python logo. So I have a logo in the same folder, and actually this will have to be a Q icon. Which we'll have to import from DUI. So yeah, now we have the name, logo. Alright, next we will set up our canvas. So I'll use a widget in a widget called QLabel, which we'll have to import in a bit. And we will use something called a pixmap. on which we will draw everything. So this will also be something we import. Pixmap. We have to give, oh yes, I forgot. We will have to give the window length and width. So length, Pixmap. We have to fill it with white and set Pixmap to our Pixmap. And one more thing, window.set central widget to our canvas. We didn't define width and length, and we didn't import some stuff, so let's do that real quick. Let's do it up here. So this is going to be width and length of the window. Also, we will write the upper left corner of our window, so we want to position it in a certain location. So that will be 70 and 50. So this is the upper left corner of window, dimensions of window. So here, let's set geometry, upper left corner, coordinates, width. Oh, this should be height, not length. Sorry. And same thing here. So we're setting the Pixmap dimensions to the same as window. So it'll take up the whole window. So what remains is importing some stuff. So QLabel. Pixmap. This is in GUI. And we used a color that is in Qt core import Qt. So that's this Qt, this one. This should work. Let's try it out. There you go. We have 1200 by 600 canvas on which we can draw anything we want. Let's start very simply, and let's draw a line, just a simple line. Here, let's add some comments. Set up canvas. Create window. Alright. Now the next thing we'll do is draw a line. So first we have to create a painter. So we initialize a QPainter and we give it our canvas's Pixmap. So this is our painter. Painter, we set its brush. Actually, we don't need brush right now. We'll add that later. Set pen. Give it a pen. We give it a color. Say blue. Painter dot draw line, and we have to give it the upper left coordinate and bottom right coordinate. Or actually, no, the start coordinate and end coordinate. So in our case, it will be upper left, bottom right. So let's make it from 500, 100 to 700, 300. Okay, we have to import QPainter, QPen, and QBrush, which we'll use later. Now we have a line that goes from the first coordinate that we specified to the second one. Just to show another example, let's make an X. So 700, 100 to 500, 300. Now we have an X. We can also make it a bit thicker, like this. Now let's draw a polygon. The way we're going to do that is we're going to specify the points in that polygon, and we have to give this method the QPoint object, which we'll import in a bit. So the first point can be, let's draw a square around where we had the X. So 300, 100, 300, 500, 100, 500, wait, no, 500, this is 700, this is 700, 300, and 500, 300. Okay, we have to import QPoint. So we import that from there you go. We have a square. Now if we want to fill it in, let's say we want to fill it in with green. What we do is we set our painter's brush to Q brush, and we specify our color green. Boom. Alright, so now we have set up our canvas and we know how to draw on canvas. Now before we move further, what we're going to do is we're going to separate these out into their individual components to make it more robust. So we're going to define several things. We're going to define canvas, our own canvas, which is going to inherit from QLabel. Canvas to draw shapes. We're also going to define the class main window, inheriting from Q main window. Our main window. Alright, so first we'll move the, right now this should run, right? Yes, okay. So the first thing we're going to do is move the canvas stuff inside canvas. So first we have to initialize it. So the canvas we're actually going to give a width and height. You'll understand why in a bit. So instead of having a universal or what's it called, global variable, we're going to have whatever calls canvas will define the width and height of the canvas. So we're going to move all of this stuff inside here. Shape. Alright, so this is going to be, we don't need this, it's itself. So this canvas will be replaced by self. And then when we call canvas, so here we're going to call canvas, we're going to initialize it, instantiate it. We're going to give it the width and height that we want. And this should work. Yep, it works. Just to make sure that it works, let's move one of our points. Let's move this down a bit. The bottom right point, let's move it down by 100 pixels. Boom, done. Next, we're going to move everything to do with window inside of our window, of our main window. Now instead of window, we have to write self. And first, let's see if this works. Oh, it doesn't work because we haven't. There you go. This is now our widget. It's instead of the built-in one. Okay, canvas. Window is not defined. Alright, so we gotta move this out and over here. Self. There you go. And we what is missing? So we have our application. We have our window here, which inherits from Q main window, and we're instantiating it here. We have our XY width and height. What are we missing? Let's try running it again. Okay, yes, problem. Here, for some reason, this became self. This should be canvas. Boom, okay. It works. Just to make sure it works, let's move this one to the left, the bottom left point to the left a bit. Yep, it works. Alright, so now we separate everything out. We have our main window class, which calls the canvas. It creates a canvas, makes it its central widget. And this canvas class sets up everything, sets itself up, and then draws a shape. Alright, so now we're going to create a method for drawing the shape instead of having it automatically get drawn inside init. So we're going to move this into a function of its own. Def draw polygon. And if we call it here, it should work. It does work. And now we're going to give it points. So take these. Alright, so now we're going to supply it with points and tuples. And here we're going to have to create the Q points. So we've got to convert all of the points into Q points. and here we just have to pass the 2 points. And here I need star. Okay, it works. Let's change one of the points. Let's move this down a bit. First point, the upper left point, move it down a bit. Yep, that works. Let's move this to a window. See if it works. Yep. Alright, we're also going to define one more method. Draw ellipse. I'm going to specify the center point and the radius. Draws circle with center xy and radius r. So we're gonna have to reinitialize enter and draw. Okay, so instead of this, it's gonna be draw ellipse. We have to specify the upper left point and the width and height of the circle. Alright, let's see if this works. Wait. Okay, actually no, I want this to be draw circle. The method that the built-in method we call will be draw ellipse, but we want to draw a circle. We'll center it at, let's center it at the first point of the polygon, which is the upper left point. So 500, 200, and let's make the radius 50. There you go. That works. Alright, so we've done this. So we've done the first two. Okay, so we have a canvas and we have control over it. We can draw whatever whenever we want. Now the next step will be to get input from the user. Alright, so the way we're going to do that is we're going to set something called mouse tracking. Set mouse tracking true. And what this does is it provides us with a number of methods. First one is mouse move event, mouse press event, and mouse release event. So this will be, it will give us an object event on mouse move, mouse click. So these are all built in, we're just overriding them. Mouse unclick. Alright, so when we move our mouse around the canvas, these should trigger. And let's test this one out first. So event gives us an object called position. So we get it like this. And pause position.x and position.y will give us our x and y coordinates of the mouse. So let's print mouse move pause.x and .y. This should be even. Alright, let's see if this works. yes, if you can see here in the console, whenever I move my mouse, it gives us the coordinates. So this should be about 0, 0, be about 0, 600. This was 500, 200, center of the circle. That works. Also, whenever mouse is clicked, and mouse unclicked. Let's comment this one out. Okay, so whenever we click, it should give us the coordinates. So let's say I click here, it says clicked, and when I'm still clicking, I still have it down, and here I unclick, and it shows me the new coordinates here. All right, so we have input from the user. I'm gonna go ahead and comment these out for now. So we have input from user. Next, we want to update the screen. So the way we'll do that, the way I'm going to show you that at first is by by drawing a circle wherever the mouse is. So we're going to have to constantly update the screen and redraw the circle wherever the mouse is moved to. Let me draw this real quick. Okay. Here, before I do that, let me make the painter. Let me make these smaller methods by taking the painter out. So I'm redefining it both times. So instead of that, for now, I can just move it here until I start customizing my painter. This will be self.painter. Self.painter, we don't need this. Self.painter. Should work. Yep. Alright, so we're gonna have to define something called a timer. So here we're gonna have the QTimer. So we're gonna connect it to some function that runs whenever at every interval, and the interval is defined here. And I am going to say it's 60 frames a second. So we're going to update 60 times a second. So we're going to define the milliseconds between each frame. I'm just going to say 1000 milliseconds divided by 60. So we have to specify a function in here. I am going to specify, say update, or actually I'm just going to say draw all. And I'm going to remove this from now. I'm going to take this, put it here. And I am going to connect. Here, let's make this self.counts dot draw all. So 60 times a second, it's going to call this function right here. So nothing should look different except we'll just see one circle on the screen, which is being updated 60 times a second, even though we don't see anything different. This should be self.canvas. Okay, we haven't imported QTimer. QTimer should be, there you go, yes. We don't see anything on the screen. Interesting. Okay. Alright. Let's update canvas after we try it. Yes, there you go. If you don't update it, we don't see it. So that's the thing. So now this is being drawn and redrawn 60 times a second, but we don't see any difference. So how do we see it? What we'll do is we'll track our mouse. So we'll initialize it at 0, 0. Whenever our mouse moves, the new will update our mouse coordinates. So, and instead of drawing it in the same place every time, we will now draw the circle wherever our mouse is. So this will be first value and second value. Let's see if it worked. Yep, it's redrawing it wherever our mouse moves. Now, what if we don't want it to keep showing us the old ones? What if we want it to refresh every time and just draw the new one? So in other words, it just looks like our circle is moving around instead of like a snake, an infinite snake. So the way we do that is before we draw the circle, we will clear the screen, and we'll do that by filling our pix map with white. And so what we're doing is we're clearing screen, and then we're drawing whatever we want to draw, and then we're updating the canvas. So by the way, this method is called 60 times a second. Alright, so there you go. Now it looks like we're just following our mouse, our cursor around the screen. So now I'm actually going to create a new class called controller. Okay, so we've updated the screen. We're going to create something called a controller. I don't know if there's a better name for this. It's just what I've called it. So controls graphics. This controls the input, the output, whatever, and it connects to the canvas in the window. So this is the guy that's going to be in charge of what updates at what time and whatever. So this is in charge of all the animation, everything. So I'm actually going to give it the canvas when it's initialized. It's going to be initialized by window. Actually, yes, so it's going to be initialized by window because it has to be accessed by the timer. So there's probably another way to do it as well, but this is how I chose to do it. So self.canvas equals canvas. And we're going to define something called a main loop, and this is going to be the function that we're actually going to call. Instead of the draw all function, we're going to call main loop 60 times a second. Called 60 times a second. And this is going to do whatever canvas was doing. So we have to do two things. We have to create controller and pass it canvas, and then we have to move all of these over. So let's do this first. That's one. Replace self with canvas, self.canvas. Okay, we're gonna have to change this to controller.main and create our controller. Pass it our canvas. So nothing should change when we run this. Well, let's see if it works. Boom, it works. Nothing changed. That's good. So we're actually going to simplify our stuff. So we don't need this anymore. We're actually going to move mouse over to controller. This stuff will stay here. The mouse move events will stay here, but they'll update the mouse in controller. So self.mouse here. So def move mouse and the new coordinates. So we don't need this. And we have to connect our mouse move. So self dot. Okay, so the problem here is the canvas doesn't have access to controller, so we have to fix that. Self dot control dot mouse pause dot line. Okay, so I'm going to create something called set controller. Okay, this so that we can call this. So gives canvas access to the controller. So here we're updating mouse and then we're drawing and we don't need the canvas anymore. It's our own mouse. Alright, this should work. Let's see if it works. Nope. Canvas object has no attribute controller. Yes, we forgot to set controller. Okay. Self.canvas.set controller self. So here is where we're passing itself, controller, to the canvas. Boom, it works. Next, we're gonna, instead of this, just to make it look nicer, self.canvas, not clear. And we're gonna create a method that does that for us. Clear. Yep, it works. Do we need anything else? Okay, I'm gonna add a couple more details. So this is the frames per second. So I want the controller to define our frames per second. So I'm gonna say controller class and call FPS. So we have to give frames per second to controller. So that everything to do with animation control is within here. So whenever we change this, if we want to make it faster or slower, we just have to change this, and that's it. Also, similarly, the window should have these. These should not be global. So move these here, and this should be self. Same here. Alright, let's see if it works. Oh yes, so this is the specified width and height. Alright, that works. So yes, now we're able to get input from the user. Whenever the mouse moves, whenever the user clicks. Also, you're able to draw whatever you want with this polygon. So whenever you call canvas.draw polygon and specify the points, you can draw whatever you want. You update 60 times a second, so you can change anything around. You can make things move. You can even have input from keys as well, which I didn't show you now. I'll have to look at it, and if you guys want, I can add that. I can show you that as well. Right now I just stuck to the mouse. Also, I can show you how to, okay, just to show that when you click, it does something. What we'll do is controller. All right, so I'll show you that real quick. Let's say when you click, it becomes blue. Okay, right now it stays green. It's staying green, but let's make it so that, okay, so it's green. Let's make it so that whenever you click, it turns blue, and then when you unclick, it goes back to green. So it starts green. Here I'm gonna add an attribute called color, and then mouse. All right, def click mouse. Oh, and also I will define the other one as well. On click. Guess I need this on my phone. So on click, let's make the mouse color blue, and on unclick, back to green. So we'll have to update the canvas so that it takes a color, and let's make it by default green. And before we draw, we have to set the brush to the color. Okay, so now when I click, nothing's happening. Oh, and that is because we didn't connect the click mouse to the mouse press event. We have to connect these. So here we say self.controller.click mouse on X on Y. Okay, now it should work, except I didn't add the unclick. So now, even though I'm unclicked, it's not turning back to green. So let me fix that real quick. Now we've connected this one, the mouse release, and it should work. Boom. Click, unclick, click, unclick, click, unclick. So we're able to do that as well. Yeah, these are the basics off of which we can build a game or some sort of graphic engine, which I might show you in the next part. Thank you.